If we ask AI to price the cost of building a road, it'll do a terrible job. It has no context and it's just guessing what we want. If we tell it where the road is, how many lanes it has, the key design features and assumptions, then it'll do a better job. If we give it our entire cost library, a complete bill of quantities, and the exact process we want it to follow to prepare an estimate, it will probably do its job as good as any estimator. Because at the end of the day, the actual number crunching part of estimating is just applying rates to quantities. The accuracy of this is completely dependent on the quality of the data we give it. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple structure for an AI estimator, which takes as input a set of drawings and a scope of works and produces a Excel estimate. It's just one simple workflow that you run from end to end. And this system really comes down to two fundamental things: the data that sits behind it, and then the actual workflow itself. Because once we define these two, the actual mechanics of putting the estimate together is actually as simple as applying quantities and rates. It's actually making sure, number one, that it is getting the correct quantities, and then number two, it is applying the correct rates to those quantities, which depends on your database. Now, again, I would say this is a system you would use for budget and conceptual estimates. I would not be using this for lump sum, hard dollar construction projects. I have done another video on where I would integrate AI into that process if you're actually preparing a lump sum estimate with sort of more of a plus or minus 5% accuracy. But this, again, it depends a lot on the quality of data and what the input information you get into this process. But again, this is something I would use more for conceptual and budget estimate. And really, the reason I would say this is because at the end of the day, there's the number crunching side of estimating, but a lot of estimating is actually like a commercial decision, not just a calculation. You can constrain AI to follow your cost library, use your rates, you can give it a bill of quantities, but there's so much more to preparing the actual estimate, which is the business side of estimating, understanding what the risks are, where you can strategically drop your price, what are smart inclusions and exclusions to have, what your client actually cares about. There's a lot more to winning a project than simply crunching numbers. So where I think AI excels is where you give it a very good library of accurate construction data and you're pricing a project with a very clearly defined scope of works, and there is a clear bill of quantities. Now, the reason I draw attention to the bill of quantities comment is because there is a lag at AI's ability to read and understand text to how badly it reads and interprets construction drawings. Construction drawings are quite possibly the worst input for AI. They're visual, they're dense, they have a lot of different layers of interpretation and symbols behind them. And a lot of tasks that we would consider quite simple, for example, measuring the length of this pipe run, is actually very difficult for AI to do accurately. And I've spoken to this at length in other videos, and again, referring to things like the clock benchmark and how much AI struggles to read precise measurements. So I think if you can give AI the bill of quantities, then this will be much more accurate. But if AI has to go do the construction drawings and try and read and interpret the plans, then it will do a bad job. The exception that I have found very recently is that AI is, if you are extracting the text layer from the construction drawings, and I built this into a quantity takeoff skill, you can actually go and count all the individual text callouts very accurately, but sort of more area and linear measurements off a scale are just not as accurate at the moment. So again, where I would say you should use this workflow is if you want a quick budget price, maybe before you prepare a detailed estimate, whether you're just preparing a high level dollar figure to provide to your client and it's a bid to bid situation where they haven't yet secured the contract, there's a loose scope of works and you don't want to put a lot of time into pricing it because you're not going to be held to the price you prepare. Or if you're a developer and you want to do a quick feasibility study. But again, you just have to understand that this entire workflow depends on the quality of your data and how accurate you can define scope and actually give AI the quantities it needs to do the task. Now, I would say if you're talking like AACC classes of estimates, I would say this is more of a tender budget estimate where you're going sort of minus 20% to plus 30%. Okay, so the tools I'm actually going to be using to do this, number one is Claude Cowork. So if you're not familiar with Claude Cowork, it is the desktop version of Claude where you can open Claude within a folder on your desktop. So I've opened it on this folder where I have a set of construction drawings and I have run my workflow within this folder. So I don't have to copy this into the chat. Claude is simply reading and writing to the files on my desktop. You cannot really do this in the Claude chat because the problem is if like even sort of not huge construction drawings, like this set were probably 10 megabytes, you can't upload files that size to the chat and you will run into issues with overwhelming the context window. The next feature of Claude I am using is Claude Skills. So what Claude Skills lets you do, it allows you to pre-package a workflow. So I have a workflow for estimating workflow, which basically runs and goes through the documents and works through this entire process to prepare the estimate. The other good thing about skills is you can just call them from a chat. So I type estimating workflow and that massive workflow I had stored that has lots of instructions on exactly how I wanted to do it, the exact output format, how I want it to make assumptions about certain things, how I want it to go and read from my cost library. That is all nested within the skill. Just quickly, if you do want access to a library of pre-built skills for construction, then we have a library just like this in Contractor OS. We also offer unlimited one-on-one tech support to help you actually implement and set up these systems within your construction business. So the estimating and drawing analysis skills that I'm going to go through in this video, they all live within Contractor OS. And again, our mission in Contractor OS is to just help make AI useful for construction companies. Then the next part of this workflow is the actual output. The output is going to be in Excel because we all know Excel is the greatest construction software that was ever invented. And it also is easy. So the other way we could output this is like a report in the chat, but Excel is just so much easier to audit and check what has actually happened. Within our actual estimating skill, we define the structure and how we want it to go and perform this task. And then, for example, we have the price schedule, we have the workings with the direct cost. It's got references to where it's actually pulled the rates. It has our build up. I don't know why I did that. It's got our build up of our overhead and direct costs. And then it has the inclusions and exclusions associated with the price. Every time we run this estimating workflow, it'll put it in the same output. So it's very easy for us to audit and go through. Now, the final part of this, and the bit I'm actually going to spend quite a while talking about, is our cost database. So this cost database I have sitting in a software called Airtable. Airtable is just like Excel online, but it's basically a good way to store structured construction data. You could have your cost database as an Excel file. You could have this in Notion. You could have it in SharePoint. You could have it in Google Drive. There are a lot of different ways to do this. So don't get too caught up on the fact that I'm using Airtable. The reason I like Airtable is because it has a good MCP into Claude. If you're not familiar with what an MCP is if you go to your Claude customize connectors, basically what an MCP does is it allows you to read and write to software directly from Claude. The reason you want an MCP connection for your cost database is because if you imagine you would have your project information sitting within Claude Cowork, within the folder within which you open, you need some way to pull a cost database into this. You could do this by every time you do a new estimate, you could copy your cost database into the folder. In my opinion, that would be annoying and a bit of a waste of time. A better way to do this would be to find some cloud platform like Airtable, Supabase. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. Notion, you could do it in SharePoint with a Microsoft 365 connector, but you want this data living somewhere where the MCP has access to it and you can read and write to every folder. The only point I want to stress here is some MCPs use a lot more tokens than others. For example, Airtable I've found doesn't use a lot. Supabase doesn't use a lot. Notion for some reason uses a ton. Microsoft 365, again, is really slow and uses a ton of tokens. It's also going to take your set of drawings and split them all up into individual PDF drawings and create a markdown representation of what's in that. So instead of every time you read the drawings ingesting the whole 10 megabyte PDF file, it's going to find the specific drawing it's looking for and the exact bit of information. After that, I run the Conceptual Estimator skill, which is really going to be what I'm mainly going to talk about now. So we've turned all our project documents into useful AI AI context. What the conceptual estimate skill does, and I'll open the skill so I can explain it better. What the conceptual estimate skill does is it runs a entire workflow where it takes whatever the client has provided, drawings, scope of works, maybe a bill of quantities, and regardless of the information that's provided, it basically runs through that, tries to determine what scope is missing, makes assumptions where it has to, derives a bill of quantities using a separate skill, which is the construction takeoff skill, and then turns this into an Excel estimate. Again, flagging anywhere where flagging the level of confidence it has behind this. So for example, this estimate it's prepared, 30% of it has high confidence, 5% it has medium, and 65% it has low confidence behind it. It shows you the workings, which is basically derived a bill of quantities, and then against each of these, it has flagged whether the information in the cost library is useful or relevant, but also the source information is useful or relevant. Did it come up with the bill of quantities itself? Did it have to do its own takeoff? Could it count the items on the drawings? Because again, once it's counting the items, it's quite accurate. But if it is trying to measure the area of a slab, it's not as accurate. So this was the output of my quantity takeoff skill. So this is the first part of the conceptual estimator that runs. It's actually gone and counted all of the floor drains on the drawings, basically by converting the drawings into vector data and then counting each of the individual tags. And I get it to mark up the tags as it does it. So we have a reference of what it's counted. But for example, it hasn't counted the lengths behind it. So if I just go back to this example and look at the takeoff output again, so this is an interim step within the conceptual estimate. It's gone through and identified a bill of quantities for the project. It has said all of these items where it is actually counting items, it has said high. It has high confidence associated with that. The trench drain, it said it's got high confidence because the client actually gave a schedule with the lengths, but then the sanitary waste and vent pipe and the domestic water pipe, it tried the polyline method and basically is not confident in those figures because it was trying to measure off a scaled measurements, which is something we know AI isn't good at. So again, this is input data. The tender package I ran it on didn't have a bill of quantity, so it had to basically go through and do the takeoff. We know these figures, it has high confidence that they're correct, but then other figures it doesn't. And then this data is then feeding up into the actual conceptual estimator, and it is determining one, what is the level of confidence it has in the rate. If the rate is a poor match, we'll get poor. That's why we get low accuracy. If the rate is a good match, we'll get high accuracy. If the quantity can been derived easily, then it will have high confidence, but if the quantity is not derived properly, it will have low confidence. And then basically the skill is told to run through the entire process to first calculate the direct costs and match these to the activities in our cost library as best as possible. Then it goes and builds up our overheads in the instructions I've given it. So again, you could have your own overheads library that does this. You'd have different ways, but it will need to estimate the duration of the project through this. And then all of this is documented as inclusions and exclusions. So any missing information, anything it didn't have access to when it did this, it's explicitly told to make sure it's covered in the inclusions and exclusions. Because again, when we think about submitting an estimate is only as good as the assumptions behind it. So it's told to make a lot of assumptions and qualifications. It's not pricing things and making hidden assumptions that could come back to bite us. So that is the basic process of how to actually run through and prepare an estimate. Again, tailor this to the exact way you want it to do it. Maybe you don't want it to go like this. Maybe you want it to basically take I missed one step, which is actually looking at the benchmark rates and trying to fact check those benchmark rates so it does a reasonable test at the end. So basically that is the entire process. Again, the quality of this entire thing depends on the quality of your data behind it. And on the other hand, the quality of the information in the bid package. If you have bill of quantities, details, all that information is already there, and all you're doing is matching quantities to rates where it has really good data that sits behind it, then this is going to be very accurate. But if you don't, it's not going to be very accurate. This video was about how to build an estimating workflow, but really what really matters is how to have a really good construction cost library.